What would you do if your husband had a second life and you only discovered it by accident? One message. That's all it took to rip open everything I thought was real. My name is Lena. And up until 3 weeks ago, I thought I had a stable marriage, a comfortable home, and a loving husband named Marcus. He always said work kept him late. I believed him. But now I realize he wasn't building a future with me, he was funding his escape. Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. It started innocently enough. I was charging my phone in the kitchen, and his buzzed nearby. Normally, I wouldn't peek. But this time, the screen lit up with a name I didn't recognize. Violet. And her message? Can't wait to see you out of that suit next weekend. You bring the wine, I'll bring what you like. I froze. But I didn't scream. I didn't even breathe loud enough for the air to shift. I smiled at him from across the room, handed his phone back like nothing happened, and excused myself to bed early. My hands were shaking, but my mind was already running. I needed to see more. No more. And when I did, what I uncovered went deeper than flirty texts and secret meetups. There were receipts, flights, password-protected files, and something buried in our home that proved Marcus had been hiding a double life for years. But what came next would change everything, and no one saw it coming. Why would a married man keep hotel receipts in a shoebox behind winter sweaters? That question hit me the next morning when Marcus left for work, whistling like a man without a care in the world. I waited until the garage door shut before I moved. My heart was pounding. I didn't even know what I was looking for. Maybe I wanted to prove myself wrong. But deep down, I knew. His home office was always off limits. He said it was too cluttered. Said he didn't want me to deal with the mess. Turns out, the mess wasn't paperwork, it was his lies. In the back of a drawer, behind unopened software boxes and expired gift cards, I found a manila envelope labeled simply, trips. Inside, flight confirmations, hotel bookings, dinner receipts from restaurants I'd never heard of. One of them was dated on our anniversary. While I'd been home making his favorite dinner, Marcus had been ordering oysters for 2 at an oceanfront resort. I should have cried, screamed. But instead, I felt a terrifying calm settle in. Because in that same drawer was something else. A key I didn't recognize. Smaller than our house keys. I turned to the closet where we kept our fireproof safe. I'd only ever seen Marcus open it. I slipped in the key. The lock clicked. What I found inside made me realize he wasn't just cheating on me emotionally. He was cheating on me financially. And the betrayal? It was deeper than I imagined. Ever wonder how much your partner is hiding not in words, but in numbers? The safe creaked open slowly, like it knew what was inside could never be undone. And there it was. Tucked between an old passport and a Rolex I'd never seen him wear before, a checkbook from a bank I didn't recognize. The logo wasn't local. It was private. Elite. The kind of place people use when they don't want others poking around. I pulled it out and flipped through the stubs. My breath caught. Amounts in the thousands, some withdrawn as cash. One for $7,200, labeled simply, consulting bonus. Another, Violet, Paris. My stomach turned. He was paying for her trips with hidden money. Money I had no idea existed. And next to the checkbook? A USB drive and a manila folder titled Foundation Project. But this wasn't charity work. It was fake invoices, fake consulting gigs, all filtering money into an account I never knew existed. There was $89,000 in that account. $89,000. I stared at the screen after logging in, hands numb. I could have bought us a vacation, paid off debt, started a business. But instead, Marcus had built himself an escape hatch. You ever feel that moment where your love for someone just dies? Quietly? That was it for me. I didn't confront him. That's what he would expect. No. I got smart. And what I did with that bank account, that's when the game flipped. They say hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. But they've clearly never met a woman with access to her cheating husband's secret bank account. I wasn't going to just take the money and run. That would have been too easy. Too predictable. No, I wanted Marcus to feel it. To watch his little fantasy world crumble in real time, brick by brick. First, I played dumb. Kissed him goodbye each morning. Asked about his projects. He thought he'd gotten away with it. Meanwhile, I was digging deeper into that account, into his lies, into her. Violet wasn't just a fling. She was a coworker. In fact, she worked under him at his firm. HR nightmare? Absolutely. But it gets better. One Friday, Marcus told me he had an out-of-town leadership conference. I smiled, nodded, and waited until he left to make my first move. I called the hotel he booked for the weekend as his assistant. Canceled his reservation. Then I booked it again. In her name. Sent her a fake confirmation email just to ensure she'd show up anyway. Next, I transferred half the money, roughly $44,000, into a newly created investment fund. Joint. But requiring both our signatures to withdraw. Locked tight. Then I donated $10,000 to a women's shelter under Marcus's full legal name. Public donation. Receipts sent straight to his office. Oh, and I sent Violet a gift basket. Inside was a printed copy of one of his love letters to me, dated 2 days after their first weekend together. Would you have stopped there? Because I didn't. What came next hit him harder than any slap could. You ever watch a man's ego collapse in real time? It happened at 6:42 a.m. on a Monday. Marcus shuffled into the kitchen in his robe, rubbing sleep from his eyes. But instead of coffee, he found an envelope on the kitchen island. Next his phone, which had 27 missed calls from his boss, his mother, and Violet. Inside the envelope? Divorce papers. Signed. Finalized. Filed. I didn't just want him to hurt, I wanted him to understand. Every paper in that packet was a mirror, screenshots of his texts, statements from the hidden bank account, a printout of the donation made in his name, and a short note from me. You didn't just cheat on your wife. You tried to cheat your way out of your entire life. So I made sure you lost both. The best part? That prenup he made me sign before the wedding, his idea, had a full infidelity clause. One that guaranteed I'd walk away with half of everything, plus alimony. He tried to speak. Choked on it. His mouth opened and closed like he couldn't decide if this was a nightmare or real. I didn't yell. Didn't gloat. I just looked him dead in the eye and said, by the way, the locks were changed last night. You ever see a man realize he's not the main character anymore? But what truly broke him wasn't the money or the divorce. It was how calm I was. They expect us to break down, to scream, cry, beg. But what scares a man like Marcus more than anything is a woman who's quiet, who's calculated, who walks away without a scratch while he's left choking on the fallout. After the divorce, I didn't gloat. I didn't post about it. I disappeared from his world like smoke. Moved into a new apartment. Got a better job. Cut my hair. Took back every part of myself that I'd slowly handed over during our marriage. He tried texting me once. Said he never meant to hurt me. That he missed the way things used to be. I didn't reply. Because here's the thing. Marcus wasn't just a cheating husband. He was a man who spent years building a backup life, while smiling in my face every day. So I built an ending he'd never forget. Remember how this started? He thought he could hide it. He thought I'd never notice the messages, never find the account, never put the pieces together. But I did. I opened the account. And I opened my eyes. And when I closed the door behind me, I made sure it locked from the outside. If you've ever been betrayed, don't just react. Plan. And if you want more stories where the one who is underestimated ends up in control, hit that subscribe button. You're gonna want to stick around for what comes next.